and we got some work to do. But we all we got. You know what I'm saying? It's all about that black love.
Hey guys, how are you? My name is Rhea Williams, and I feel so blessed to be among amazing human beings, amazing brothers that I came to know by way of owning a restaurant here in Phoenix. And so, just to give a quick shout out to you guys, what drew me to these brothers is the entity that they have formed and who I grew to know them to be. And so I wanted to offer that today and asked if we could have a conversation. So I wanted to bring to you guys for your 2-year anniversary, the members of the Growth Spot. So welcome. Thank you guys. Man, I am inspired by having dope conversations with dope people. And so with that, I would like to introduce everybody just in case I know, in case somebody is new to who you all are and what you all are about. That's what we're going to talk about today. So who wants to kick it off?
It's cool. I'll go first.
Come on.
Now I'm brother Bilal Munir Rahim. What draw me to the growth spot is just proper alignment for my future and my direction as a man. I wanted to make sure that I'm aligned with some solid brothers to help me continue to grow as well. That's how we got here. That's how I got here.
Yeah.
Indeed. I come in the name of true Father Allah, and I hooked up with these brothers because it's important that we connect with like minds. And I knew if I could connect with like minds, we could be doing what we're doing right now. And for the longest, for me, it's all been about getting free. You know what I'm saying? And we working on that. We're gonna reach that goal.
My name is L.E.G.A.C.Y, 1/7 of the Growth Spot. And what attracted me to this organization was that there was a bunch of brothers in the community that were all doing positive things in their own right. And they were respected in the community. They cared more about the work than they cared about anything else. And so being able to align yourself with people who have the same foundational principles. We can always build on a solid foundation, and I feel like that's what we have here. And that's what's attracted me and kept me involved in what we're doing.
Love it.
For sure. My name is Brother Eric Crondo. Like I say, 1/7 of the Growth Spot. What aligned me is just the camaraderie, the solid foundation of everybody wanting something better than what we have, and actually doing the work to like build towards that, not just talking. So that's what brought me here.
I love that. I love that.
Peace, y'all. My name is Kylan Gresham. What brought me to the Growth Spot was an opportunity to embark on a journey. I'm enthusiastic about land ownership and development and linking up with these brothers who I've met each respectively through other community efforts. It's been a privilege to embark on this journey so that we can achieve great things and grow. I think we're all infants in this space, and it is a tremendous honor to lock arms with these brothers moving ahead. And I'm also like just very enthusiastic about taking on new challenges. So this is a great privilege.
And I'm Brother Nakia. So for me, man, this venture was the ability to show forth action. A lot of the times we talk about things in the community, and that's all it becomes is just talk. And so for me, this was an opportunity to really show forth the full action of being able to show that we can do this. And so that for me is what brought me to this collective.
And you know what? I have to say, I'll be honest, I was just listening and overhearing a conversation, and this is kind of before we get into the mission and what you guys do. And you guys were brought together through a Black Fathers group. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please speak about that?
So I'm also the founder of our Black Fathers Committee, which is a fathers mentoring organization, which we hold a Tuesday night father support group, which we all attend that support call every Tuesday faithfully. And through the conversation, as Brother Nakia was saying, we were talking about what we can do to help solidify our legacy. And land ownership came up, and we decided to put some action behind that talk. So it started with the fathers support group, and it grew into the growth spot.
I love it. That's exactly what I overheard. And then I think one of you guys were saying that, like in the fort, it might have been Kylan, I don't know, saying, like in the amount of time that you guys have met, they had only missed like a couple, and it just grabbed my attention, because as a Black woman, especially doing what I do, it's the state that I would say we are in. I mean, we've always had our struggle, but it was enlightening. It was refreshing to me to hear Black fathers be committed in that way, because it wasn't just about it was like there was relationship formed, so that truly is what drew my attention to you guys. So I just want to give you guys honor and props for that. Of course, because you guys started the committee.
Yeah, yeah, it was me and Lau started it, the call, and it was running, and we just kept having a conversation about legacy, generational wealth, legacy building, and land kept coming up. And eventually we was just like, hey man, so what we gonna do? We gonna talk about it or we gonna be about it? And we just decided to pull the trigger.
Oh man, what was the first step?
Yeah.
That brings us into the mission. You said, all right, it's about action. So what was that action? Because that's where a lot of people get stuck.
Put the money up.
Yeah.
Because in reality, in our community, oftentimes we'll just talk and talk and talk, but if you don't have any skin in the game, then there isn't really a real accountability.
Right.
So we decided that, all right, cool. We know what it's going to take to be able to acquire the land. We have somebody common within the organization that's already gone through this process. So we knew what it was going to take. So it was like, cool, everybody commit to putting this money up. And if you put the money up, we know you're serious. And that was the first step. And then we went and we found the land and kind of the rest is history.
See, and that leads us right into the Mr. Kylan. You'd already owned land before?
Yeah, so I feel like it was a full circle moment for me in some sort. I rediscovered myself. And what I mean by that, I've heard stories of like, relatives that have owned land in the past back in the South and things of that nature. Things happen and we either have remnants of that or it's just all gone. So amid the COVID fiasco, I had like an epiphany that I think it was served up to me by my daughter, actually. She said something of the sort that made me realize, like, oh, she thinks food is just like made in the box store. And that kind of like scared me a little bit. I'm like, I need to be a little more proactive about, where I'm investing and what assets that we have. And so that I can provide not only a comprehensive understanding, but prepare her and, the rest of the family moving forward. So I started looking for land. And at the time, I was actually coaching a junior Olympic archery club. That's a whole nother story. But one of the participating families, she's a previous guest of ours on Plot in Progress, but she owned land in the area that I eventually looked at. And she encouraged me to just go check it out. And when I got there, I fell in love with the idea of owning a parcel of land there. And I think maybe 1 year removed, we kept having this conversation on the calls.
Yeah.
And I just sort of like brought it up. I'm like, hey, by the way, here's what we did. Maybe we could just go check it out as a collective. And from there, it materialized into us purchasing that land in September of 22.
Yeah.
So that makes what? We're going on 4 years?
4 years.
Wow.
We're going on 4 years as far as the actual land ownership as a collective.
Okay.
And for me, like I said, it's been a privilege to not only talk about this sort of thing, but to actually sustain. And you spoke about the level of commitment, not only our presence on the call, but for us to actually maintain a project like this has been very encouraging on a personal level. And hopefully it serves as, inspiration for others.
Yeah.
Considering everything else that's said about people like us, right?
Oh, yeah.
And what isn't being done or,
Right.
It's all about the intentionality, right? And it's a great luxury to have like-minded individuals that you can embark on a journey. So I'm blessed. But that's how it kind of came about.
Man, and trust me, I have some questions about that just because it also struck me, but I definitely want to get into the mission just so that we can all know, because it's so many, it's multifaceted what I came to learn, the growth spot was all about. So I love that everybody, learning the backstory about something only makes it stronger and more powerful for people to connect. So who wants to tell us what the mission and the vision?
So at the Growth Spot, we're unified in action to build, protect, and expand a fruitful legacy of love, equity, growth, ancestry, cooperation, and yield by inspiring and educating on the practices of agriculture, self-care, nutrition, environmental stewardship, and entrepreneurship. We aim to cultivate a vibrant community that's rooted in resilience and sustainability.
Woo! Now, for the people in the back, we got love, equity, growth, ancestry, cooperation, and yield. I had to write that thing down.
Legacy.
I love it. That's a lot. And wait, and inspiring and educating on the practices. See, look of agriculture, self-care, nutrition, environmental stewardship, and entrepreneurship.
Right.
See,
It's imperative, right, that every time we come together as a collective, we recite
Remind
that.
ourselves.
You
yeah,
got to keep the mission at the forefront of your mind. What we're doing is it's bigger than just moving pieces together,
Yeah.
pitching in some money, investing.
yeah,
This is really legacy building. This is really building a community that will sustain itself long after we gone.
yeah,
And sometimes I've been a part of organizations, I know a lot of you probably have as well, where sometimes the mission actually gets lost in the shuffle in the
Yes.
pursuit of other things. And as long as we can always keep that at the forefront of our minds every time we come together, it's hard to now deviate from what's most important because we recite it. My man has it memorized.
I
So
see.
not a lot of people have the mission statement of the organization memorized. So it's that imperative for us as a collective to recite that every time.
You know what? And I'm gonna just say real quick, I have some experience in the nonprofit world, and I remember it's like when you're coming up with your mission and vision statement, sometimes they'll say, "Well, hone it in, hone it in." But the truth is, we are a complex people, and there's so many different aspects of our lives. Yeah, it could be rooted, and that's what I want to get to: foundational principles and who you guys are at the core and your character. Yeah, that's what roots the foundation. But there's many branches. You know what I mean? So I resonate with that because I kind of go against the grain when people try to box me in one lane. But that's awesome. I love it. So in the spirit of how you guys, this is about, and I'm gonna just say this. This literally is a conversation because it is your 2 year. Oh, okay, no, we got to fill in the gap. So you bought the land. How did we then evolve to Plotting Progress, the podcast?
That's a good question.
Because I want to flow right in.
Plotting Progress, it was an idea. We were like, we need to tell this story. What we have is something that's special. And we wanted to be able to provide as much information and not be gatekeepers. But what we found is that there's a lot of people that they'll say they want to help you. They got the knowledge. They even have the resources in a lot of cases. But a lot of times they're not willing to share that with someone else or to help bring someone else. It's the whole concept of Sankofa. Reaching back, grabbing the lessons that are there, bringing them forward. And so Plotting Progress was birthed out of the idea that we need to teach others this process, show people that it is actually doable for them as well.
Yeah, we talked about that off of camera, right? It's like
Yes, we did.
you have the opportunity now to share this information to kind of build upon so that other people can kind of go through the same process, do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And I like what he said about not being gatekeepers of this opportunity because it's important for us to know that what we're doing is something that everybody should be involved in. And a lot of people going on this journey, I've found more landowners than I ever knew before.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I realized so many people have no idea that land ownership is even possible.
Yes.
They don't know the first steps or the pathway to go. So we've just tried to be transparent about that because if you're really serious about building a community, then you have to know that there are different communities and we can have one microcosm and somebody else can have another. But as nobody really knows how to take the first step, sometimes it seems so great that you don't even try. You don't even try to acknowledge.
100% true.
One other thing that we also wanted as a mission for Plotting Progress was to be a resource. So you've seen that we've tapped into quite a few different people in different regions across, the planet.
Yeah.
That are doing similar work, and we're just, we're an incubator. We're bringing people together to help them to share that information as well. So it also was to be a resource for the community.
So I have a question about that, but before I do know a little bit about a tradition and I don't want to break it.
All right.
So I believe somebody has some bars to spit.
Spit those bars.
And how did that even come? Just because I ask questions, how did that come about?
I think that was mostly true.
Lovers of hip hop, I know.
Yeah.
Music heads like me, I get it.
The thing is, we have conversations like this all the time, right?
Right.
And my brother Colin was like, we need to have a podcast.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And one of the ideas that came up was to, recite some bars and try to guess where those come from and make sure that the bars are align with our mission, what we're doing. Yes.
Got it.
In some kind of way.
Positive, conscious.
Okay, because y'all picked the hardest bars, I must say. Y'all gonna find the beat side lyric that you gotta really know the whole album. I just had to put that.
We all have our biases.
Y'all pick hard
No
ones.
biases.
We have our biases, you know,
Okay.
me and Bilal, artists, Trues has a radio show.
What I love
Yes.
about it is
Opinions.
we show how powerful hip hop is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Indeed it is.
Because we focus on, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it shows like how hip hop can be done the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because anybody who watches our show and they hear these bars, they're like, dang, man, like,
Who
So
said
dropping
that?
something.
Yeah.
you know, versus all the stuff they try to push onto you, you know.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I love it.
Let's go into it, see if I guess these.
Got it.
So you want to be a conscious rapper. Can you handle the press and their negative chatter? Can you eat cold platters and still spit data? Watching others spit lies and their pockets get fat. Can you climb up the ladder and reach to the top? But it still doesn't matter because you ain't pop. Can you rock for the love of the art? Can you drop hit after hit, still don't chart? Can you really stay loyal to God when your life is full of strife but it always seems hard? Can you handle the criticism? People holding you up to higher standards but they don't even live them. Can you hear these kitty flows and laugh at it? But when they spitting, they calling you arrogant. You better think before you rock to this. Sometimes it's easier to pop your Chris. Let's do it. You say.
That sounds familiar.
Is that Goody Mob?
No.
That was literally.
Is it brand new?
No.
Hold on, we need a
Is
hint.
it West Coast, East Coast? Hold on.
We need a hint.
East Coast and West
Dirty
Coast?
South.
It's East Coast.
Okay, it's East Coast.
It's East Coast. It's
Is it Clips?
no.
No.
It's I'm trying to get it in without saying who it is. It's one of the guys that spits knowledge, known for spitting knowledge. I'll just say that.
What era?
Kara's one?
Yeah.
Right.
Karen?
I was like, right. That's the only. That's right. I'm like, that's the only. I hate to say, Lord, forgive me. No.
Yeah, he gave it away.
Dang.
KRS One, the song is
Okay.
The Conscious Rapper.
Oh,
Conscious rap.
oh man. I love
That's
it.
off the new one or that's off I Got Next?
This is off Spiritual Mindset. Spiritual Minded, yeah.
Okay.
I love that.
The album.
So we got a shared love of music here. I'm telling you, y'all be picking some hard bars.
KRS One, The Conscious Rapper.
You got to know your music to get with these brothers. Yeah. So that's great. So you already touched on the mission, the vision. I love basically what you guys said. So you guys got the land in 2022. You started the podcast in 2024. Was there any, like, between that time of getting the land and then did you have any, like, events, or was it just more of the you guys were already meeting on Tuesdays, but what did you guys come, like, as you were moving forward, was the podcast the first thing?
Our goal was work on the land as much as possible, right? We wanted to keep that as the center focus of what we're doing, right? And it is central to everything that we're doing is about that.
Okay.
So we started the process of being able to journey up there to work and to do things on the land. One of our first projects that we started, and if you guys go back and look at some of our previous episodes, you'll see some of this, but the work on the fence. So we started the process of securing the land, right? Got the land, but is the land secure at this particular point? No. And so that was the goal, was to start the process of doing the work. So instead of just talking about it, we're out there physically putting in the actual work itself.
Wow.
And then camping on the land. That was one of our first things that we did as well. Now, unfortunately, I missed out on that particular trip. I think I was out of the country at the time, but man, it was just so good to see the footage that all the brothers had taken while I was away, and then to be able to edit it and put it together and put it out, and so people could see a little bit of what we're working with when it comes to the 40 acres.
And y'all remember what we was trying to do before the fence though?
What?
Yeah.
The deck?
Deck, right?
Ah, that's right. That's right.
2022, the end of 2022 and all of 2023 was us just being able to experience the land
Okay.
and using it as an opportunity to incubate ideas, right? So we came up with a bunch of different ideas and then tried to kind of strategize it, but it was a lot of trial and a lot of error.
Mm-hmm.
And so then now all of those, for 15 months basically, that's how the podcast idea was born, because it's like we experienced a lot of highs and a lot of lows. We tried some things worked, we had some wins and some losses, and so it's like, all right, if we could go back to our past self 15 months ago
Right.
and say, this is what you need to know going in, that's how the podcast kind of came about. So that now as we go on the journey, we can be transparent and honest with people, but also share our experiences, the wins, the losses. And that's kind of how the podcast came about.
And it's 40 acres of land?
37 and a half.
37 and a half. That ain't no small piece of land.
That's huge. I think we barely like walked it the last time. Well,
Yeah.
drove on it and / walked it the last time we was up there.
Wow.
Most of it is with the drone though. But one thing that I will say about the collective is it taught us, like, they say we can't come together and do things.
Oh.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
And so I think this speaks volumes to that. And you know, we're all different individuals, but it creates a bond and a friendship that we always gonna have.
Yeah,
So,
and
that's real important to me.
I'm going to change the format because that, honestly, I had a whole, I don't know, epiphany of sorts once I was watching, you know, just kind of preparing and watching the episodes. And one of you guys, let me think of who it was. One of you guys gave an example. There was 2 examples of you guys being like a Voltron. I think it might have been you, Brother Nakia. And I wrote the word alignment, which Brother Bilal spoke to already. And so I think it was you, Brother Bilal. I have a crazy memory, especially with things I'm into. And you were speaking about how you felt, and correct me, whoever it was, they were saying like in your own individual past, you were kind of, you know, on your higher mission and just kind of working towards the good. And you felt that kind of aligned you guys at the right time. Was that you? I don't know. You may not even remember because it was kind of like
either of us.
It was. But
It's definitely the truth, though.
Yeah.
I think that we came together at the perfect time in all of our lives. What I wanted to say at the beginning during my introduction is not only was I looking for brothers to align with that was on the same path,
Mhm.
but I also was looking for a quote unquote safe space for me to offer what I have. You know what I mean? So I don't want through my trial and my journey of being in different organizations and different things, I didn't want to bring myself as a valuable asset to another group and not that be reciprocated by all of the brothers that's in there. So I think I'm like Kylan was saying, I'm grateful I'm honored to be here. And sometimes I just like sitting back hearing our story. So it's going to be hard for me to say much during this because it's a reminder as well of like how much we've done, what we've done, how powerful it is. Because when you're in the mix, it's like sometimes you forget you're just moving. But this is amazing.
I love it. Well, let me tell you, it's mutually beneficial. So one of the things you guys, I mean, it's really not about me, but the day that we were sitting around the table in the restaurant, I think one of you guys were like, you know, yeah, we're about collaboration. And, you know, obviously whenever I would see you all, it'd be about building. And you guys were such a blessing, just your support. Okay. Like I didn't have a base. And it just meant so much to have like to see people come in on a regular basis. And then when I got to learn a little bit about you guys, that meant a lot. But then as a black woman who was I had a lot of my professional life working around black men in close proximity. I have a entertainment industry background and work as a coach and therapist former. And so I know about trust. I know about how we as a people, there's a lot of, things that we go through, that hardness. So it was refreshing to me to see that, and I don't know, you guys can answer this. Did you guys have relationship before the call, or like just the fact that you all on a trust level? Because people got to like you, trust you, then want to do business with you or life with you.
Me and Bilal are cousins. So we had to
you know each other.
But I knew True in the facility, in the community. Nakia came along as part of our organization a few years ago. Kylan, we all personally started rocking. I think it was from the call.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, it was from the call. You know, everybody was doing their own thing in the community, positive things. But from that call, spawned this. So I think it was initially the call.
Yeah.
The thing is, the trust comes from vulnerability. And I think the call is what brought everybody close, because it was an opportunity. I've learned a lot about each of these brothers collectively, individually, from the call, because the call is a place to where you can bare your soul, or you could just be a listening ear.
Okay.
And so, I think that definitely helped to build the trust and the cohesion. But then also again, seeing that if I see this brother in the community, I see his flyers all over social media. I see him at all of the events. Like it's like you start to see people in certain rooms, that gives them a little bit more credibility because I see you out here actually doing the work. And also by association as well. You know, because if I know that I know the type of people that I associate with. So there's only going to be certain people that I will rock with and won't rock with. So if I bring somebody into the collective, 9 times out of 10, they're trustworthy. And so knowing now that they rock together as cousins, okay, that gives a little bit more credibility. So I think just over the years, the call was the glue, but also being able to see the work was the component.
Did you guys promote the call? Because I'm like, okay, how did?
So we run it on social media, right, to let people know. And I'll give you a quick rundown of how I met Brother Bilal. So I was at an event that Brother Giorgio was speaking at, and it just so happens Brother Bilal was there, and it was a men's event. You know, we were talking about fatherhood, and you just how to be better fathers. And so Brother Giorgio, shout out to Brother Giorgio, man, but he's a counselor, and so it was good to see. This is really one of my first events that I was able to attend, like in person, and just it was good to see brothers being together and talking about something that we know is a sticking point for our community. And Brother Bilal pulled up, and I started dropping some of the knowledge and history of what we've been through. And Brother Bilal was like, man, I got a call that I do on every Tuesday, and he was like, man, join if you ain't got nothing going on, you're free, just join. And so I was like, man, that's a bet. I kept my word. I was like, I'm gonna keep my word. I'll be there, and I haven't left since that. You know what I mean? So that was how it came together for just me coming to the call. I'm from Arkansas originally. I'm not even from Phoenix, and like I said, this is like one of the first events that I was able to get outside and just be in the community, and it just happened the way it's supposed to.
I love it.
God is amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that I'm gonna just say this because I've also, and I want people who are watching to know, it's like usually people will say, oh, well, if it's not sports centered or activity centered, you're not gonna get black men to show up. You're not gonna get them to commit. And clearly, there was a need. It is a part. It totally is. That's why I was like, how did you guys?
Fatherhood.
Yeah,
Just to speak to that, like,
Please.
on a personal level, I've been trying to get down with these brothers for like a long time. And I keep tabs on people and what they're doing in the community. And so when I learned he had the archery club, I got certified for that. And I worked with him on that. And when I was at Grassroots, some brothers would come in sometimes, and I'd tell them about the father's call. And a new person would be on the call and be like, how'd you find out about that? Oh, True told me. And so things like that. But what I wanted to speak to was the hardest part for us when it comes to that trust thing is that's the hardest part. And so the fact that we got together and we did this, that's we already handled like the hardest part, right?
Yeah.
And when black men are doing things, like a lot of sisters tend to just like want to cheerlead, right? So when you said what you said, it shows and proves that when we do, like you say this all the time, brother, like when we do what we got to do, the women will follow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you said that when you heard all these things, it was refreshing.
It was.
It's like, so for people watching this, it just shows and proves everything you talk about.
Yeah,
when we do what we're supposed to do, they're going to notice. They're going to want to support.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's very beautiful what you said, sister.
Well, I think it's beautiful because you guys, I was just earhurt to be totally, I was like making you guys' food, trying to clean up. I don't think employees were there, but I was just like, I just love that you guys were so committed. And then I'm like, well, were you open from the gate? Like, I know what it's like to start a group, but to keep a group and for people to come to and I'm saying this because as a black, and I didn't want to center it about relationships necessarily, but there's so much that our personal life and what's happening on the inside, it affects our lives on the outside. So I'm like, did you show up just ready to be transparent and vulnerable? Or like, I literally wanted to know those things when I was sitting around the table. Like, how did y'all just, it was like this.
I think, so the call, I got to say this about the call, OBFC, shout out to y'all again for starting this call, because it's a testament of like the power of commitment on all levels, on many fronts. And it also fills a void amongst black men for something that we've lost gradually over time, which we probably remember what it was like going to the barbershop and what that dynamic was like, right? That could be therapy, that could be entertainment, that could be, you know, your counsel where you're going to get, you know, what you need, that fulfillment. But it's also a space for accountability to live, like true accountability, full scale accountability. And I think that's something that black men, we need more than ever now, because once we really lean into that, I think it's going to look a lot different outside.
Yeah.
So to be vulnerable, that enables you to come into the space. And once we're there, I think the range of topics has been literally every facet of life.
Yeah,
right?
for real.
So that is something that reinforces the commitment, because if I miss that session, I feel like I'm missing.
Yeah,
I'm missing a piece.
Is it just open?
Yeah, we
I
talked
missed
about
about a week ago, and I was like, man, I missed the call.
When I was,
politics, children, fatherhood,
everything.
there was a point where, like, when I be missing them, I would ask Brother Bilal, hey, can you show me the recording?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to miss it. I just got to a point where I just...
And there's times where, you know, a lot of brothers have bared their souls, stuff they would never say in public to anybody about it.
It's a safe space.
And that's the
And
beautiful
you get
part.
game. So it's like, I'll go through something, hey, bro, what do y'all think about this?
Yeah.
And I have 7 to 10 different perspectives on it. And I can choose which, you know what I mean, or I can help him in the mall, or I can, hey, y'all know my personality, man, what should I do? You know, and you know, you got some game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing, real quick, is that sometimes now you go through your day and it's like, damn, man, you know now, oh, I got the call coming up. I'm gonna say this for the call, and I'm gonna run this by the brothers, or just I'm gonna get it off my chest.
That's right.
So knowing that you have this thing to look forward to, that's what makes it so important, because there isn't anything else in our community that we can go and look forward to, being open and being honest and getting fair criticism and feedback. Because sometimes if you in the wrong, that's the other part about it. It's not a place where people just gonna tell you yes all the time.
Right.
If you in the wrong, somebody gonna come out of the woodwork and be like, nah, brother, I think that's you. That's not anybody else, that's you. You might need to check yourself. And that's what I'm saying. That's what you need.
I think that's another beautiful thing about the call, is that we don't always agree. Like, there's often times where we have some good, strong, candid debate with one another, but we leave the call better than what we came. And I think that's the biggest key to the call, is that you're going to leave better than you came to the call.
And you don't take it personal.
No.
You don't take it personal.
I'm gonna have to ask y'all this, because this is not, you guys, because you're in it, kind of like Brother Bilal was saying, it's just everyday nature. But you have to understand, like, from my vantage point, it is so rare, and I wrote that down, the alignment and just the unity and the spirit that exists. What do you guys attribute that to? Because I know you don't all, I think somebody mentioned you don't all share the same, you know, maybe faith backgrounds, or everybody comes from different places. So what do you attribute that glue to?
Again, I think it's the vulnerability. When you're open and transparent and honest with somebody, and you know they're doing the same,
Yeah.
That creates a certain level of cohesion that you just can't really find.
Yeah.
So if I'm the only person that's bearing my soul and everybody else is kind of sitting and quiet, it's not going to be the same.
Right.
It's not going to be the same.
Yeah,
but if I know that out of a month's worth of conversation, I may not never have to say nothing, because it's going to be a bunch of different brothers bearing their soul and sharing their life experiences and what they've been through. That makes it easier for me to now do the same thing, and to trust and to know that you have my best interests at heart. Yeah. And that creates that alignment, knowing that I know this brother now because I've listened to his family joys and pains, and we've talked it out, and vice versa with everybody here. So it's like that creates a level of brotherhood, accountability, and cohesion that I know that I don't have to take anything personal. And I can just have blind trust and say that even though that doesn't align with what I may personally believe is right, or what I would want to do, I can say, you know what, it's all good. I trust these brothers enough to know that they have my best interest, and they're not going to steer me down a dark alley.
Have you guys ever had a time, because again, I just got to say, it's very rare on those times that people disagree, or maybe you got to tell some hard truth and someone might get offended, or it may get a little hot. I mean, but everybody comes back. Like, have you ever had to, like, you know?
One thing it's taught me is that everybody's got to submit to something, right? And I know submission could be a triggering word for some people, right? But literally, sometimes knowledge itself, which can come by way through your brother or whoever, right? You just got to receive it objectively. And I think the call also provides a platform for that to be conveyed. So yeah, like the brother said, we don't all agree, right? We have different perspectives, but I think the timeline also helps solidify the commitment because it's like the brother said, I know this brother, I know his family. I've seen, the evolution of some of his, just chronicles and things of that nature. So it makes it easier to have those conversations. And me, I've always welcomed like accountability in that way, especially like in an abrasive manner, like due to like my father's way of doing thing and like, playing football and having that coach that's gonna get on you. Like my dad used to tell me, when I take you to practice, you're his. You know what I mean? The coaching staff, they got you.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes you need that, especially as men. We do. Somehow I don't know, it seems to me that a lot of men have a reluctance to truly like be vulnerable enough to receive that sort of coaching, input, advice, right?
Yeah.
Full scale accountability. And I don't think any of us shy away from that. We don't show up as representatives on this call.
Yeah.
And I think that optimizes the effect of what we're doing. And I think we all see that because as we're journeying together, now it's easier for us to erect any sort of project out of that.
Yeah.
Because
even just the mindset to know that as a man, you're not always right.
You're not always
what
right.
I'm saying? And so,
Right.
Well, that's how
yeah, and so because we disagree a lot, specifically when we talk about politics sometimes, and I believe, but at the same time, that brother that's getting on my nerves, that I'm at that particular time, and your view, I can be smart enough to say I don't agree with everything, but I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you
Yep.
know what I'm saying? This is a brother that helped me before previously or something different, so I'm not gonna hold you, even though you think this and that.
Right.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we still a black man, and I got respect for you regarding that first.
Yeah.
It's understanding we stronger together than we are separate. And go. One dreadlock is stronger than one strand.
If you want to go further,
If you want to go further, you go alone. If you want to go faster, you go alone. If you want to go further, you go together.
for sure.
But it's like in our community, we're taught and bred to be the man, to be the guy.
Exactly.
And that's poisonous because nobody can be the man. You can't be the only person. You can't be an island. It takes a collective. And so this has also been humbling as well. And knowing that, I'm going to submit to these other brothers and knowing that it doesn't make me any less of a man
Absolutely
or a leader or whatever. That actually makes me better because I can leverage and lean on the wisdom and the experience and knowledge of 6 other people to make sure that we get the best outcome every time.
100%.
I love not being the smartest person in the room.
For real.
Me too. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say that's why we chose the word yield for the Y on the acronym legacy. But I also wanted to answer the question about, you said who do you accredit it to based off of like our different backgrounds and
The unity.
and faiths and so forth. But me personally, I always accredit it to the higher power.
That's right.
And secondly, I accredit it to the ancestors that was here, that was walked in and bled on this land before we had the opportunity to get it back.
That's
and so,
right.
Us being able to transform those conversations into the growth spot, go and acquire the land that our ancestors bled on and build something from it.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me. And like me and Crondo, as we mentioned, we're cousins. So our family came to Arizona in the 60s.
Mhm.
So, and they came out here looking for better opportunity. So to be able to keep their legacy going as well, we've done things that they weren't able to do within the time frame that they had. But that's what the family is for. It's because we also all understand that the overall goal, we may not see it through. We may not see it to fruition, but getting it started and giving the next generation something to build on is also a very big piece of this journey also.
Yeah, man, you guys don't understand. I think to both of your points, I'm very in tune with pretty much every level of life. And it's not that people don't want, especially Black young men, they don't know how, it's like I've talked to some people, they just don't know how. So what I loved about you guys' willingness to talk about this is sometimes if people send the power of media, all they need to do is see. They may not ever step in nobody's church. They may not ever go yield to nobody's yoga or meditate. They may not, but they may see this conversation and be like, you know what? Like, that's just how quick, something can hit you and stick with you. So that's what stuck with me. you know, in listening to you guys. And so I guess I'll speak on that because I was curious when I learned what the acronym meant. And when I don't know all of you, you know, that well, but in terms of you guys coming together, what do you, I think Brother Nakia used the word of a Voltron. And so I looked it up. I'm just a crazy person. So I'm like, what do you guys each feel that you bring to the collective? Like what uniqueness?
That's a great question.
Oh, I love, I love asking questions because you guys are not the same people. And your spirit, I am attuned to, like, I don't know, energy. I'm not trying to get too deep, but I could feel just the cohesiveness. And it's very refreshing. And my prayer is that it will be infectious, you know, to other brothers or couples or whoever. Yeah. It's like when there's a spirit of unity, then there's growth and there's, you know, that's when we really can.
Well, you know what? I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to shout out my brother Bilal. He's very great at recentering us. Sometimes we get into these lofty ideas, and it's all good stuff. I think our excitement really gets conjured up, and we be like, oh, well, what about this? Let's do this, let's do that. But staying true to the mission, I think he's sort of like an anchor in that way.
What do you agree with your...
I do, but I like where Kylon's going with it. So I would say, like, what I love about Brother Delon is his organization from the top. So making sure that we're able to be aligned as far as paperwork, our structure, and those things, which helps because we're all doing other things. So to be able to come into this particular space and know that I don't have to do everything, that makes it easier for me to do other things. So yeah, I appreciate your organizational skills.
Well, in the same spirit of the potato man, I'm gonna shout out my brother Condo, man. Is that he will tell you like it is. Because sometimes you need a straight shooter. You need somebody not to sugarcoat it, not to miss words. He gonna tell you exactly how you feel in that given moment. But it's
honest.
You need that sense of reality because sometimes we have to remind ourselves this is a business too.
For sure.
This is a business, and we also operate a nonprofit. So you can get caught up in the corporate legalese and the terminology and being all professional, but then sometimes you just need a reminder this is still real life.
Yeah.
And you just need people to hold your feet to the fire and tell you what it really is and how it really is as well.
I love that. I want to hear from y'all individually too, but I like the potato.
I said this.
I like the potato.
Dope boy. Like, the thing about the lawn, man, you need
right. Everybody's
you need people like Delon on the team. Because when it comes to examining other individuals, like, some people might feel like, even myself sometimes, that he comes down hard on others. But it's out of love. You know what I'm saying? Because you just can't let anything up in what you build.
Right.
Because oftentimes we've let people come into the fold and destroy what we built. So I tell people all the time, man, like, you need people like Delon.
Like a gatekeeper.
It's frustrating.
Nah, not a gatekeeper.
Like a discerner?
Examiner.
Examiner, okay. And it's, okay.
As much as he frustrates me sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, as much as he frustrates me sometimes, I love him to death because you need that. You know what I'm saying? And I know with him on our team, ain't no BS ever going to be a BS.
Yeah.
Like a protection. Plus, I get tired of being the bad guy all the time. So
I don't think he's a bad guy. I think it'd be probably Bilal or me or Kylon.
I be feeling like the bad guy.
Because it's very analytical.
Okay, I see that.
I'm black sheepish in my thinking.
Right.
So we gotta have that for balance.
True is kind of keeps us grounded as well, as far as, like, you know, listening and putting the situation in the other person's shoes. I think he's very good at that. And then Nick's, like, in my opinion, like Johnny Cochran with the paperwork. Everybody has different strengths.
That's what I want.
And then I bring humor. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, we doing what we doing is serious, man, but we can have fun.
That's right.
I like to have fun.
Yeah.
And we can do work and still have fun.
yeah, I like to bring humor too, but then they take it serious.
Right.
Well, it depends on a time. It depends on what time it is.
Joking, and they're like,
In the middle of a paperwork meeting. You can't bust.
You know, I got something for Connor too, then, because for me, what I appreciate most about him is he's our Swiss Army knife. Yeah. There isn't a lot of different topics or things that you can talk about with him that he can't have an intellectual opinion or something to add to the conversation.
Wow.
And so a lot of times, especially with owning the land and having gone through this process in his background, like he's made sure that we don't miss certain steps that we need to, and not only acquiring the land, but developing the land. And so there's not a lot of things that I feel like we run into that I can't run by him and get a different or fresh perspective on, because he's versed in a lot of different things.
Wow.
He has the same qualities as the seventh, another 1/7 of
Brother James.
Brother James.
Yeah, shout out to Brother James.
Which is our OG of the group, should I say? But like Delon said about Kylon, very, very, very well versed in all topics. I always say he's like an encyclopedia. He knows everything, like, and very well versed in many things. So I definitely want to shout out Brother James.
Yes.
Even though he's not here, he still deserves his props on what
Period.
the spot is done and accomplished.
He's here in spirit. I feel like I know him. I never met him.
It's a little bit of Brother James running through all of us. You know
For sure. I love that. Yeah, I love how the question evolved, because I was just thinking in like what you feel you brought. So the ones that got shouted out, do you guys feel or agree with that, or is there something else you feel like you bring to the element?
I think for me, I'm also a historian too, so I love to study history. I think it helps us to be able to understand where we are in time, but also how to not repeat the same mistakes that we had. So I think when I bring that element to the growth spot, I think it helps us to also be grounded in where we're heading and keeping that mission statement alive and going and flowing. And so I'll just mention that piece of being a historian, because I think it keeps us on track with where we're heading.
That's right. What about you, Colin?
I'm a why person. I always ask why. So I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the devil's advocate with things that I propose.
You do have to.
But it's all with the intent to like broaden our perspective and just ensure that we're doing due diligence in whatever we choose to initiate. So yeah, I think that's it, and it's natural for me. Every aspect of my life, I question everything. Even my own personal convictions. So I'm not the same person as far as like my spiritual beliefs. Like it's just a continuous evolution, and I always keep an open mind to receive, because I feel like we all have remnants of the ultimate truth, right? I don't think there's any single source
Sure.
for anything, right? So that means any and every person that I encounter, even if it's a bad encounter, there's something I can pull from them and add to who I am, what I'm doing.
That's awesome. I totally agree. Brother Truth Telling Fun Bringer.
I would say the fact that we realized that like a lot of times, like Delon said, everybody want to be the man. I think we all are the man, and we solidify that through our work and actions, and we all realize that I'm not below you or higher than you. I'm right beside you.
Yeah.
And so once you realize that, it's easier to rock. And then I just like to cut to the chase. What are we doing? My time is valuable.
That's right.
I like to relax, but if we're doing something, we're working, what are we doing? Let's get it done. And I like to cut to the chase.
Man, thank you for your time today.
Yeah,
Seriously. Brother James, the OG, we say his wisdom. He brings that wisdom. Thank you, Brother James.
And I shout him out too, right? Because he handles a lot of our marketing, our website. He definitely instills. That's his forte.
Okay.
So he definitely instills that ideology that you see online. A lot of that is his thoughts, right?
Nice.
He brings it to the forefront. For me personally, I would say that I handle a lot of the finance and the organization of the nonprofit, the LLC. So it's important for me to make sure that you keep business at the same time. So it isn't that I'll try to be hard on people, but I've been a part of efforts personally and also collectively with other people where we just want to make money and have fun. And you forget that if you don't take care of the business and you don't keep the business at the forefront, it can get slippery when the finances really start to kick off. And so you got to keep things at a level head. So I think I try to institute as many ideas as I can. But the most important component for me is to just make sure that the compliance and the finance stuff is on point and that we're not getting ourselves into any issues down the line, so that we can keep doing what we're doing. That's important. We want to be able to do this for a long time.
That's right.
For our family, and as long as that stuff is in order, then we're able to do that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about how to support too. That's coming.
Yeah, on a personal level, like what I try to bring into everything I'm part of is, resources, networking. And when I say resources, our greatest resource has always been us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you bear witness to this, sis, because when you talk about trust, I put the word out about Doughboy.
Mm-hmm.
You saw how everybody showed up.
For sure.
Because True said that spot is a good place to go to. So they gonna show up. You know what I mean? That's how much we trust each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna put my boys onto some whack itch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, so personal, being a journalist, I have a journalist background, just networking, and as far as the podcast, bringing a lot of guests, various guests to the podcast and everything, to help get the word out and just show others what we could be emulating, besides just the agricultural aspect. Because, like in the acronym, we talk about entrepreneurship, and we have like a lot of entrepreneurs who aren't really necessarily tied to the land aspect.
For sure, that was one. I'm getting in that direction right after Brother Bilal shares his contribution. Thank you.
True lightweight copped mine, but I was just gonna say that the community aspect. I think I know a nice amount of people here in the community. I've done a lot of work over the years, and it's like I'm really just kind of recognizing it as of lately. Is I kind of have like a battery in my back that's still full. So I move around a lot. I start my days early, and it's like a continual effort to bring all of this together. And I think even like on a professional level, when I come into that room, I'm bringing, like he said, my whole network with me, and I think that I take pride in that.
Yeah.
Can I mention one other thing too,
Please.
really quick? The youth. As we got started on this venture, we knew that, as I think it was Brother Bilal mentioned it earlier, that the fact that we're starting something, we're the foundation. We may not see this thing all the way fully exactly how we envisioned it by the time our journey here on this planet ends. But we are setting it up so that those who are going to come after us can pick up the torch and run with it.
That's right.
So I will say as well, another thing that we've done collectively is invest back in the youth. Our legacy camp is proof of that.
Yeah.
And speaking of which is coming up, we've got the legacy camp that's going to be coming up soon. But that is an important part of what we've established as the growth spot, as the legacy camp. Getting the youth out of this inner city and getting them out into nature, back into what we're really supposed to be doing, which is tapping into our creativity.
I love that. Honestly, it's just so refreshing, and like I'm inspired, and I just want to support you guys. But I know just from my family has been in Arizona for 20 years, and I would always drive here 4 times a year, and I chose to start a business here on purpose. But I would venture to say there was like an absence of Black culture. I just wasn't aware of it because I would just go to their house and that's it. Go to the grocery store and we would just be at the house. So from having a restaurant and getting to meet you guys and then meeting Kathy and Vernon, who have been here for 10 years, they're from Chicago. I was like, wow, like there's cool Black culture in Phoenix. What? It was always on. I mean, I don't mean this, and I don't even, this is not a part of the recording necessarily, but I'm just going to speak it as I feel it. It was known as a place that was like every relationship is interracial, and that there was just not, that was just my perception. I've lived in a lot of different places, and there's no shade to that, but it was just like, okay, like this is not the place where there could be an incubation of just, I'm very I'm just all things Black. That's just me. I love all, but my heart is for us. So anything I do, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's where I was like.
Challenges in Arizona, right, is that we so spread out, but there's always been essential amount of Black activity, culturally,
sure,
festivals, events, businesses, and we've had times where it was in East Phoenix, South Phoenix,
okay,
West Phoenix, but it is kind of scattered and dispersed. And most people, when they come from out of town, they end up in the far West Valley. They end up in Scottsdale.
That's
they
right.
end up in Tempe, Chandler, the East Valley. They don't really end up in the epicenter of Phoenix. And when you're in downtown Phoenix or in Phoenix, you start to realize, okay, no, there actually is a nice presence of Black activity.
That's right.
But sometimes you got to know somebody to know somebody.
Yeah. And then you got to align with them. You know, they may not be of the same, you know, uplift and go ahead. I don't want to cut your thought off.
No, I was going to say, so speaking of which, I think one of the things that I've learned and come to appreciate more and more is just the efforts also that Grassroots and Archwood.
That's right.
The efforts of Brother Ali and Henry and all of the efforts that they do in the community. We've been able to partner with them as well to host certain events like our emergency go bag trainings, Heart and Soil People's Garden as well has hosted us for composting 101 workshop. So we've been able to do things by having this extended community of people that help us as a collective to be able to get the mission done.
Yeah.
As a native, though, I mean, I don't know. I've always seen it. I've seen the growth. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm from raised in South Phoenix, grew up in West Phoenix, so I've seen it all. But they'd be like, oh, well, a lot of time I meet people and they'd be like, oh, man, you're the first brother that I met from here.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, well, that's crazy.
Well,
Everybody
be like, I've been here.
from there.
But that's the thing, right? Because
Like, so
when I go to Chicago or I go to New York, you go to the Midwest, back east, like the term outside is real. You don't have to know where people at. You just got to be outside. And you don't know where the Black folks is at. In Arizona, there ain't no place where you ride by right now. You're just going to see a whole bunch of Black people for blocks and blocks and blocks.
Yeah.
Like, you might see a Black person walking down the street, and now if you're not from there, you'd be like, that's the first.
Yeah, or in my nephew's schools, it may be like 3 or 4. It's never like.
So we here and we doing things, but it's one of those situations where you kind of got to know some people that in order to get integrated into these different circles.
So with the influx of gentrification and all that type of stuff, so it's different now. But when we were growing up, it was there was about 10 or 11 all Black neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's probably only like it's probably like 3, maybe 3 left now. You know what I'm saying? But like I'm talking about all majority Black. You know?
Yeah.
Businesses and
businesses.
I was at Grassroots. I took pride in like when tourists would come through and have them leaving Phoenix. Going on there.
Yeah, I have to give a shout out to Grassroots and Archwood Exchange too, because as a business owner, as a Black woman business owner, I've never felt so, and I knew, I was like, yes, that I followed my intuition to start here because I felt that love and that acceptance and like, I just love that. So I didn't know if you all if that was just already existing in Arizona specifically, how we just got each other's back. That's how I felt, being a newbie that nobody knew.
Brothers mentioned, it's sort of, it's become fragmented over time. And like you mentioned, you know, my childhood home is in South Phoenix and, you know, it was mostly Black and Mexican, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't really interact with white people like that until I moved away. But personally, this is why I'm like all in when I see good Black people doing business because I understand the significance to have that space, right? So where I have like a satellite living room over here when I come through, right?
That's
I know when I pass through that space, I'm either going to be there with my folks or other good people that are, you know, aligned, right?
That's right.
I know Grassroots was that for me, you know, for years and it still continues to be. Your spot was becoming that, you know.
And stay tuned.
It was that.
Stay tuned. We ain't talking about me, but stay tuned.
And you know,
it's coming up. Transition.
That's what we need because our neighborhoods look a lot different now.
That's right.
And also, like I said, the call fills that void for us as well too because we can't just walk outside or just be on the stoop or be in somebody's garage chopping it up. I mean, there's little instances of that, but not at scale for our people. You know, and I think that's important because I think we are at our best when we come together.
100%. Go ahead.
At the end of the day, what's happening and what we're seeing and what we're a part of is we're part of the historic type of community. What I mean when I say historic type of community is that we had community. What I experienced growing up where I grew up in Arkansas, we had the type of community that from the sun being up.
If you don't see a RBG in the street with his people, serving his people, and he claiming RBG, he ain't no motherfucking RBG. And with that being said, peace and Black African power.